Alpine is in a tricky situation right now. They've got two-time champion Fernando Alonso, who is still a favourite among a lot of F1 fans and also the last of the old guard after Raikkonen left last season. And they've also got Esteban Ocon, who, okay, not the greatest driver out there, but he's solid, in the same sort of mould as drivers like Fisichella and Trulli. So this then leaves a third wheel, the hotly rated Oscar Piastri from Australia, who won Formula 2 in 2021. Now, Piastri is an Alpine Academy driver and was the sort of driver who was only ever going to miss out due to a couple of things that aren't really his fault. Number one is that Guan Yu Zhou is a marketing dream for the Chinese market. First ever Chinese F1 driver being able to inspire millions in his home country, and would bring significant backing too, given that the Chinese government owns everything. Now yes, money talks in Formula 1, it always has. Fangio would never have had his career if the Argentine government hadn't paid for his boat ticket to Europe. Lauda famously took out a bank loan to get his first seat. Senna was backed by a Brazilian bank. Schumacher had his Jordan seat for Spa 1991 bought for him by Mercedes, and Hamilton would not have had a career at all if not for Ron Dennis investing in him as a 13-year-old. That's Lewis as a 13-year-old, not Dennis being a 13-year-old. So Zhou getting a seat before Piastri, well, it's nothing new. Also, the winner of F2 not getting an F1 drive is nothing new either. In 2012, neither of the top two drivers in that season ended up in Formula 1, while the driver in third, Esteban Gutierrez, went to Sauber, and the driver in fourth, Max Chilton, went to Marussia. The following year, none of the top five went to Formula 1 the following year. Now, before people start saying that I'm wrong here, Ericsson went to Caterham for 2014, but NASA wasn't in F1 until 2015. So Zhou having more money than Piastri is just one of those things. It's happened to a lot of people in a lot of series over the years. But the other thing holding Piastri back to an extent is the lack of Renault-powered cars on the grid. Now, as it stands, only Alpine has a Renault engine in it, but this could change if Piastri is handed a lifeline by another team on the grid. Williams. And it's no secret that Nicholas Latifi, as much of a nice guy he seems to be, is being battered by his teammate Alex Albon, who has just come back from a year out. Now, Albon has scored points on multiple occasions this year and has been knocking on the door of the top 10 in qualifying and the race quite often, much to Tomo's delight. Now, the scenes at Williams seem to mirror that over at Haas, where Magnussen is also there after a year out and he is beating Mick Schumacher. With Latifi not delivering, Williams might be able to consider taking Piastri on loan for part of the season, with whisperings going around that this could happen as early as the British Grand Prix. However, people shouldn't get their hopes up just yet, because even if Piastri does come in for the second half of the season, there is what is to come after that in 2023. Williams has its own young driver program which contains Logan Sargent, a young American driver who would be a good marketing opportunity for America, much like Zhou has been for China. Given the expansion of Formula 1 in the United States coming over the next couple of years, starting with Miami this year and Las Vegas later on, Williams having an American driver can potentially help them on a commercial front later on down the line. They also have Zach O'Sullivan in Formula 3, but his time will only come if performances are consistently good enough, and it'll be about, 4 years at least before he's even considered. And there's also one other thing to consider, and that is the fact that Mercedes is going to be pulling out of Formula E, and this leaves Nick de Vries, another promising driver, out of a drive. Now, we've seen many drivers go from Formula 1 down to Formula E, such as Van Dorn, Massa, Buemi and the like, but nobody's done it the other way around. And once again, that too is marketing. And another Dutch driver on the grid with Verstappen mania going rampant in Holland at the minute could help them on that front too. Williams can afford to take talent now, as the reliance on paid drivers with the budget caps has been lessened. Drivers like Latifi are no longer as important for team survival as they once were. As Joe Saward wrote, Williams is happy to take on young drivers who might go on to do better things, but it also wants to build up its own squad. And de Vries, like Piastri, is an F2 champion that never made it to Formula 1 immediately after winning. He won back in 2019, beating Latifi to the title. There is quite the queue forming to take that second seat next to Albon, who will no doubt still be there for 2023. Now, Jos Capito has categorically denied that Piastri will be there in 2023 and has also denied that Renault will also give Williams Renault engines and gearboxes to sweeten the deal. Williams' contract with Mercedes expires in 2025, but the word on the street is after 2025 or so, Mercedes will want to reduce the amount of teams it supplies. So if anything is to change, it's likely to be then. Although there was no mention of a mid-season change in 2022. That bit didn't get denied. Piastri to Williams for 2022 does sound likely. 2023 I will believe when I see it. At the same time, I do think that Latifi's time is up, and Williams will be thankful to him and his dad helping to manage the finances during that tricky 2020 season. Now the sport has budget caps, drivers that bring insane amounts of backing like that aren't really required. Williams can now focus to the future, bring in 2 decent drivers instead of 1 decent driver and 1 to pay his bills, and maybe, just maybe, get back towards the front of the grid. Hey, a man can dream. Plus, with the amount of hype that Piastri has generated the last couple of years, he better be the best damn young driver I've ever seen. Because if he isn't, well then a lot of people are going to be upset. But then we've seen talent come through before and not quite cut it at the top level. So then, a look at the rumours surrounding Oscar Piastri taking over at Williams starting around the British Grand Prix. What do you think about all this? Will it be temporary, or will he find a permanent home in Oxfordshire? Is he all hype and nothing else? Is it bye-bye Latifi, or will someone else partner Albon for next season? Is it bye-bye Latifi, or, someone else might partner Albon next season? Leave any thoughts in the comments section and get a discussion going. It is, after all, why this series exists. And while scrolling down, make sure you like the video if I've given you food for thought. And for more stuff like this, get subscribed if you haven't already, and also get that bell on too so you never miss out on a future video. Massive thanks to the kind folk over at Patreon for the continued support. And if you want to help support me at a more personal level, a link to Patreon will be down in the description, as well as there also being links to Discord and also to social media. So until next time, I've been AdmiralLaWind. Have a great day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all again soon for another video. Goodbye.